going to start off with the round of applause because we have an audience of one.
We have a massive audience.
We have an audience of one. All right, well, welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening to this podcast. It's Javi alongside Tyler back again for the second week in a row. Let's go. Let's go. Well, you took 5 weeks off, so there you go. That's the answer.
Okay, sure. You're not wrong.
But this is episode 13. Episode 13. I almost forgot.
Wow, we're teenagers. Amazing.
So episode 13. Welcome aboard, everybody, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, we're back at another episode. How you feeling, Ty?
Feeling great, bro. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, bro. And just a little bit of news for in Kingdom podcast news. I just want to give a quick shout out. See, I didn't want to forget. Real quick, I want to acknowledge the few people that did donations because I forgot to do that.
You know who you are.
I forgot to do that last week. So I wanna shout you guys out because that really means a lot to me. And if I get emotional, I'll just edit the video and you guys won't see my tears. I'm just kidding. Real quick. A big shout out to Mav. I'm not going to say your last name, but Mav, thank you for your donation, sir.
Thank you.
Sophia, thank you for your donation.
Okay.
Lola, thank you for your donation.
Wow.
And last but not least, our very own Patrick Dillon. Thank you, brother. He actually serves at our parking lot team.
Dude is legit. Patrick,
Yeah, Patrick, you're amazing, and thank you for your donation. So I just wanted to acknowledge the people that are actively not just supporting behind the scenes and things of that nature, but actually believe in the movement and in what we're doing here. So I really do from truly from the bottom of my heart. I thank you guys. Thank you for your donations. For those that are felt that they're led to donate, I'm on Cashapp at Kingdom Talks, just Kingdom Talks, one word.
And if you just want to give me money, that's fine.
So thank you very much. As far as my weekend was awesome. I went to Orlando and I checked out Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights, and it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time. I went with Jasmine, and then my coworkers were there too.
Nice.
So it was like a nice little group. And it was pretty cool, pretty dope stuff. Couldn't make it to every haunted house though, because it's like 2 hour wait, 1 hour and a half wait, and you can only be there for so long.
Listen, that's how they get you. And then it's like,
oh my gosh,
you're gonna buy the package.
It's
so you
crazy.
Can get in, so you can like go to the front of the line. They give you money more. I'm sorry, get more of your money. Let me pop.
It's like, if you don't want to wait, we got the fast pass.
Oh, the fast pass is
for
for $399.
Bro, and the fast pass is just as much as the regular ticket. It feels like I'm paying for 2 tickets. I'm like, what is going on? But no, other than that, it was fun, man. It was really cool. So had a cool little outing this weekend. How about
awesome.
You went to Orlando too?
I did a little Orlando jaunt myself.
Nice.
Was in Disney for a minute, but
cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was great to meet some people.
You're a big Disney guy. I noticed that.
I am. I'm sorry. I will forever be Disney.
I know.
Forever will be Disney.
What's your favorite park again? Like, if you had to pick one?
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. I have to go with Magic. I do, because I grew up on it. Like, we were there all the time.
I think that's everybody's go-to is Magic.
Like, but for me, it's like, there's so much more to it than, like, we don't have enough time to go through it tonight.
Yeah. It's just more than the castle for you, right?
Oh, it actually has nothing to do with the castle, to be honest.
True.
It has nothing to do with the castle, to be honest. I grew up in Disney, so.
Yeah. What else before we dive in?
You got to do current events.
Current events, because you guys loved us talking about current events for whatever reason.
Who doesn't love current events, to be honest?
So I'm a huge Netflix guy. I love Netflix, and I love when Netflix drops specials, comedy specials. And Dave Chappelle is a prevalent, he's a prevalent guy on Netflix. He has a contract with Netflix for, I think. Obviously, it's a multi-million-dollar contract, and
Chappelle.
Yeah, it's Dave Chappelle.
Have you ever seen the Dave Chappelle show?
He's the GOAT. I think he's the GOAT on.
Charlie Murphy.
I think he's the GOAT on most of y'all's list. I would hope so, anyway.
He should be.
Yeah. So Dave Chappelle has like a multi-million-dollar Netflix special contract. I think he's contractually due to do like 8 specials, and I think he's on his 6th now, and I think he's going to renew the contract after he satisfies this one. So he's doing big things on Netflix. But he was a trending topic over the weekend, and they tried to cancel him, bro.
Keyword is tried.
They tried to cancel him, and I have like the
keywords, kids. Tried to cancel.
I got the so I took a screenshot of the article because I wanted to share it with you guys, you listeners out there. Welcome aboard again on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, wherever you guys are listening. So it says that it was reported by the Hollywood Reporter that Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos sent a memo to all current Netflix employees regarding the Dave Chappelle controversy over the weekend. And not only did he make it clear that the stand-up special The Closer on Netflix would remain, 3 Netflix employees, including trans worker Tara Field, who publicly criticized Chappelle, were also suspended for reportedly attempting to crash a company meeting that was only meant for higher-level employees. Serrato's memo read as follows. I'm just going to paraphrase here because I don't really want to dive too much into this, but it said that Dave Chappelle's latest special, as several of you have reached out, the following was asking to say to your teams, it never feels good when people are hurting, especially our colleagues. So I wanted to give you some additional context. You should also be aware that some talent may join third parties in asking us to remove the show in the coming days, which we are not going to do so. Chappelle is one of the most talented and respectful talents that Netflix is happy to do business with and business ventures with, and it keeps on going, yada yada yada. So there you go. There's a cancel culture not taking a W, but taking an L. Taking an L.
Cancel culture needs to die.
And Tyler says it, and I'm saying it, and I co-sign with that because I'm tired of cancel culture, man. Cancel culture should be a thing of the past because I feel like...
And don't worry, we're going to make a podcast about it.
We will. That's going to be a podcast that should be had about cancel culture, not just in culture, worldly culture, but also within the Christian community.
So much to talk about. Yeah,
so much to talk about that. So
that's down the road. We'll address it.
Yeah, we'll address it sometime soon. But yeah, just wanted to share a little bit of that. So this is an opportunity for you audience members and listeners and viewers.
We're talking to you.
If you guys want to comment on what I just shared in regards to this current event topic, leave your comments on the YouTube column, send your emails, send your DMs, and I'll be happy to answer them on the Instagram page. And maybe I'll even answer them on episode 14 for a quick...
Or 15, or 16.
For a quick minute or two. I'm not going to...
Something down the line.
Yeah, I'll answer those questions, but it's not going to be a long-winded thing. I'll just acknowledge it for 2-3 minutes. So I may do that for the next episode if you guys want to share your commentary on Dave Chappelle. Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? What do you feel about cancel culture, etc., etc.? That being said, today's episode 13, we're going to be talking about social media and its influences in our culture and in the church. And I felt like, Tyler, since he's so anti-social media.
Okay, hold on. No,
I'm kidding. He's not anti-social media, but social media does not live in Tyler's world right now.
Thank goodness.
So we're gonna be talking about that, and I guess I'll give the floor to Tyler to share a little bit about it.
We've talked about it on and off through most podcasts anyway. We addressed it at some point, but I think it's gonna be good to actually
dive in,
talk about it more, just focus on this. But here's the thing, right? We said this in earlier podcasts. We grew up in the world that we grew up as technology essentially grew up and morphed and changed. Some of us remember what it's like to wait till 9 o'clock to have to call a girl and have to go through her dad, her mom, her sisters, her dog, her aunt, her grandpa.
Yeah.
That's before you actually get to the girl, and by the time it's that time, it's like, okay, time to go to bed. It's like, wait, what?
Bro, I remember handwritten letters in school.
Do you like me? Yes? No. And they would always draw us another box.
And of course, boys and girls, we're talking about pre-AOL here.
We're talking about
pre-dial-up.
Basically pre-internet. internet.
Yeah, pre-internet. Because this
doesn't make you feel old.
Yeah, it makes me feel super old. I'm a fossil.
But anyways, AIM. You had to make sure you get the girls AIM. Then like we had.
Dude, I remember I had dial-up.
And you had to like disconnect it, reconnect it, so you got that 56.6.
I remember
Because if you
that,
didn't
bro.
get that, it was gonna be slow.
It was gonna be slow.
Oh man! And then DSL. Anyways, we're not gonna go through the whole thing. There'll be another podcast, maybe. But like, we grew up with that, and of course, social media morphed with that.
Yeah.
You know, as technology got better, essentially made us more interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
They figured out ways to make us more interconnected, and like with MySpace, of course, nowadays you got the juggernaut Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, dare I say, Snapchat, like WhatsApp, whatever 10,000 other apps you would use. But I mean, social media. I mean, basically, let's just be honest. Social media has seeped into our actual culture. Like you can't really think about the modern day North American culture without talking about social media.
Right.
Like you can't talk about how people develop nowadays without talking about social media. Because like I said, we grew up with the evolution of technology. Mm-hmm. There are kids born today that just they innately know how to use a freaking iPad.
Right.
Like they know how to get into an iPad. Like it's just innate to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really affected the growth of people. But really, you can't talk about today's like problems without somehow talking about social media in some sort of way.
Yeah.
You have to talk about it, you have to address it because it does affect, I mean, essentially our psychology and how we'll react to certain things. It's like, oh man, should I post this? Should I not post this? You know, this person get mad. Oh, hey, you know what? You can't unfriend them because that's worse than unfollow. Like, it's like, there's a whole other psychology to it now.
Mm-hmm.
There's this whole other thing where don't get me wrong. Social media at its core and what it was supposed to do does a great job of connecting us together, right? You can have a conversation with some random person or a friend on the other side of the world with a click of a button. It's amazing, it's cool, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's supposed to do, but unfortunately now it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like you can't talk about the positives without talking about the negatives.
Right.
I mean, and I like, even today I was looking into a number of different studies and things of that nature, and it's like, at this point, the negatives almost completely outweigh the positives.
The positives, yep.
Because unfortunately, whether we admit it or not, we are influenced by social media.
Yeah.
Not even just like what people say, like what's it called, like advertising, things of that nature. You are influenced directly with what you see on other people's pages.
Yep.
What
and
you
then,
see in other people's profiles.
And the algorithm now is a real thing,
and
bro.
you have to talk about the algorithm.
It's so scary. It's so scary because the algorithm now is it's an AI. For those who don't know what AI is, an artificial intelligence type of technology that literally picks up on your habits,
what do you like, and it essentially feeds into that because essentially.
So sometimes you feel like, is the government spying on me? How did it know that I like this, that, and the third? It's because you're viewing what you're viewing. So of course the algorithm is gonna know what ad to throw at you.
It's like having the FBI agent in your phone. It's
like,
how did you know I was looking at that?
So for those who are asking, who is the FBI agent in your phone? It's the algorithm that you created.
It's Google.
It's Google. It's all those things. So yeah, I mean, and now everything, we're in front of screens 99.9% of the time. You know, I'm guilty of it. When I wake up in the morning, I go to my phone, and it's
first thing I grab is my phone.
It's first thing I grab is my phone. Make sure that it's charged.
And it's not just to turn my alarm off.
Yeah, and it's not to turn off my alarm. I literally make sure. Oh my gosh, did I charge it? Because I need a full charge. Because when I go to work, I need to have a full charge. Blah 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 blah. So it just becomes a part of you. You are literally connected to your phone, and unfortunately it does become a drug that for the impressionable person, like
a study in 2017 showed that there's actually physical reactions to social media because essentially it just creates dopamine.
I just was reading
it
that.
Creates dopamine because
we probably were reading the same
feeds
Google.
Into our not just the images, but also the thoughts and confirming things, whether it's confirming things for us or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, think about it. Like, you post something, you get rewarded, right? Let's think about this in just the simplest terms, right? You post a picture, you get rewarded with likes, with comments, right? Now, a lot of times depends on what you post. That plays a part into it. But you post something, like let's just say I was to post a selfie of me and 4 other people.
Right.
One of the pictures that we took at JR and Sarah's wedding.
Right.
Let's just use that as an example. Recent events.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sarah and JR. Love you guys.
Shout out to them.
That was the best wedding I had.
It was so much fun.
But like, if I was to take one of the pictures that were taken there, I would have gotten a lot of likes. I mean, I would have gotten people commenting on like, "Hey, you guys look great," or "What a great wedding," or yada yada yada. So it's essentially just what we kind of see as an automatic reward system, where it's like, I post this, I get rewarded for this by getting likes, by getting attention, by getting this, by getting that, and it fuels us even more. It's like, oh, okay, so I'm going to do that more. I'm going to be able to actually get more love,
likes,
quote unquote. And when I want to see love, I'm doing air quotes, because you have the likes, the like button, whatever social media platform you use, but you're getting quote love in return, and you're getting more attention. And now, and of course, obviously, we have to talk about like people do this for a full-time job as influencers of just posting a picture. Each picture gets like some hundreds, thousands likes of likes and whatever, and then they get paid for it.
You get residual income
and
for that,
sponsorships and all this other stuff. So it's like, really, essentially, it's set up in a way that it's like it's essentially made us to crave, desire, and want nothing more than just attention.
Right.
Whether it's good or bad.
Right.
Because whether it's like oh man, it's like the there was a show I used to watch, NCIS Los Angeles, and one of the characters walked in. She's like, oh man, like I was at the gym, and all these guys stared at me, and it was like, and the other characters started poking fun, and it's like, oh, was that like a humble brag, like because like, oh, so many guys are staring at me, and it's like, well, yeah, if you have your butt hanging out, guys are gonna stare. I'm not saying she did, but like, that whole concept is like, you get attention whether good or bad, and for us, like I said, it creates dopamine. Like no matter what, like it creates a drug, an addiction. Because now you have full-on studies, who are saying social media is now an addiction. There's entire lines of study of psychology to figure out how social media affects
the development
affects
of the brain.
The development.
So
it's insane. The World Health Organization. In 2017, reported that 10 to 20% of children and adolescents worldwide experience mental health problems. It's established that 50% of all mental health disorders are established by the age of 14 and 75% by the age of 18. Now, I'm focusing on development, but there's a reason I'm bringing that into it. Most common disorders in children and adolescents are generally anxiety, depression, keep going. But the prevalence of anxiety and depression has increased by 70% in the past 25 years in young people. Majority 70%. Of the spike has happened within the past 15 years in correlation of development and expanse of social media platforms. Depression and anxiety have adverse effects on adolescent development, including lower educational attainment, school dropouts, impaired social relationships, increased substance abuse, mental health problems, and suicide.
I was just going to get to.
And it's also reported that self-harm in the UK alone has risen by 68% in girls ages 13 to 16.
Which is funny that you said that, because that's a scary statistic. Because in Europe, that number traditionally pre-internet was significantly lower.
It was not saying it's non-existent, but it was very low.
Very low compared to the United States. For that demographic to be that high in suicide rates is alarming. And so what does that really tell? I mean, I'm not a parent, but I have beautiful niece and nephew, and we give them screen time. And when Connor exceeds his screen time, we are taking that thing off his hands. And we have to take him to the park. We're going to play football. We're going to do other things other than sitting behind screens, because it really does program the brain in a certain way that is not healthy for a young kid who is 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
It's just a reward system.
Yeah.
It's like okay, if I want this, I'm going to do this because I just want that reward.
Right.
And they're not going to think about anything but that reward.
Right.
It's like they don't process like, okay, is this even good enough for me? Is this good for me to do? Okay, let's relate it back to social media. And I'm sorry to bring this up immediately, but like especially women, girls who put their body out there, right? They want the love, they want the attention, and they just want the reward of getting all these likes.
Yeah.
They don't think about it. It's like, okay, you're putting your body out there. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, shame on you for putting your body out there. Like, listen, girl, if you got it, like, good. Like, awesome, great. God gave you something amazing.
But you gotta, if you're old enough to do that, then you gotta be old enough to understand the ramifications of that.
And here's the thing. There are so many reasons why I got rid of social media, which we'll get to that in a minute. But
we're gonna cover that, bro.
When I had Facebook, there was this one particular girl who will remain nameless. This is a girl who unfortunately did go through some trauma at a young age, unfortunately. But she put herself out there in a way that's not healthy, which she showed her body, she wanted all this attention, and then she would go on Facebook and complain about the guy who's staring at her butt and breast the entire time when he was in line in the bank. And I'm like, well, yeah, if they're hanging out, guy and girl both will stare at it. It's not, and sometimes we just can't control it. It's not just going to be like blatant stare, but it's like, oh, it's like, okay, somebody's here. Like you can't help but to be like, whoa, like, huh? And so it's like she put out that energy, and then she was complaining that she was getting some sort of reaction back. It's like, oh, how disgusting is he? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I said, well, that's a double standard, because I bet you thought he was ugly, and he wasn't that attractive. But if a cute guy hit on you, then you're like, oh my gosh, it's like, really? But again, we're overlooking all the decision making because we just want the reward.
Right.
Which, by the way, talking about Facebook and young girls, Facebook, thanks to the whistleblower, if we're talking about recent events, the whistleblower confirmed that Facebook knows, it knew that it was negatively affecting young girls in the worst ways.
Right.
And they did not care.
They didn't bat an eye.
Don't care about it. And here's the thing. I think that also shows that like the lack of, I don't want to say responsibility. It's like, yes, we live in America. You have free speech. You can say what you want. But like, I think there's also a level of responsibility. It's like, if you have that type of power and we're not going to get into that whole conversation, but like, if you know something is negatively affecting a large group of people,
especially that demo,
what does it say to you if you are not addressing it?
Right. Yeah. No, I hear that. That it's a scary thought, because especially that specific demo, young American teenagers, you're female teenagers, and that's scary.
But guys too. I'm not saying it's just females, but they see statistically higher numbers in females being depressed and anxious, having to deal with like self-image, self-worth. Like, well, yeah, if all we put out is beauty and just it's like, oh, like this more, like this person more, this influencer more, because they simply look a certain way, because they happen to pose in the right way with the right lighting, and having enough filters. Well, crap, we're gonna have insecure ways of thinking about what real beauty is. Yeah.
And we just become desensitized with a lot of things that we deem beautiful, we deem artsy, we deem anything really that meets the eye. And again, because we are in front of screens all the time, we just kind of just accept it.
I think we're becoming more of a visual society, because it's like, obviously the moniker sex sells. We know that works.
Yeah, we
know that works. But now it's like
age-old industry that's still making money.
You got even like TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram, barely any words are used. It's all visual. Yeah. And so like even Twitter is like, what, 180 characters or 1 to 2, whatever.
I don't even know.
I don't even know. But like, it's like no one reads anymore because it's all visual.
It's all visual. Yeah.
It's all visual.
It's all visual, whether it's a picture or videos. Now Instagram has reels that are 15 to 30 second long. And it's just, everything's fast. Everything's fast, which is creating the attention span of these kids a lot shorter. Because if a video is more than a minute and a half long, they're not watching it. They're not gonna.
It's like
They'll and statistically, I looked up that stats. Do I still have it in front of me? Statistically, that
we are
videos that are over 5 minutes long are only viewed for the first 35 seconds.
If that.
If that. And are we going to take a break?
We're going to take a little break.
We're going to take a little break, and we're going to come right back.
That was good. No, that was good.
Yeah.
That was a good place to.
Because look, I thought you was going to go on your phone, so I was like,
No, we're good. We're good. We're just taking a quick break for our YouTube viewership. But in between that, we are here. We are here at PJ's Barbershop.
At PJ's
and
Barbershop.
If you are looking for a barber, no, this is just for my Spotify, my Apple, listeners. If you happen to be in the local Palm Beach, South Florida area, and you're looking for barbers, come to PJ's Barbershop.
10th Avenue and Jog.
PJ's Barbershop.
I get my hair cut. I go to Melvin all the time.
Shout out to Melvin.
Shout out to Melvin, my boy.
He was actually
he's
here
about
earlier.
To have a girl.
He's about to have a girl.
Second girl. So congratulations. I know this is an ad, but
yeah. So, but yeah, definitely.
they're awesome dudes. Family atmosphere is great.
And we're gonna be back to our YouTube channel. And we're back. Welcome back, my YouTube Kingdom Talks Army. We're gonna call you guys.
I like that, the Army.
Yeah, the
like
Army. The Kingdom Talk, Kingdom Builders. I'm thinking of a name to call the viewership. But yeah, so anyway, that's a scary statistic. And I think because of the whistleblowers, and I think there's more whistleblowers to come out from what I heard. Not sure if that's a rumor or credible rumor or not. But the more of this information that comes out, I think as a society, we are going to learn that, hey, we definitely created a monster. We definitely need to do something about it. And I think that more parameters are going to be set in place now. There's going to be more guidelines. I know that YouTube currently has more strict guidelines for YouTube creatives and YouTube influencers to abide by, to follow.
And apparently it's very easy to get what they call demonetized.
Yes.
Basically, they won't make money.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good news because I'm all for the youth. I want the youth to thrive. I want the youth to be active members of society. And I think for the youth to do that, they just need to be. It needs to be monetized. It needs to be monitored by the quote unquote adults in the room. And I don't think it's okay for a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old to be behind a screen for hours on end. I think that's a big no-no in my book. I hope that a lot of you guys that are parents share that same sentiment. I'm not even a parent. Tyler's not even a parent, and he shares that same sentiment. Like, kids need to be kids at the end of the day. They need to build stuff. They need to play with Legos. They need to go out to the ball.
Shout out to Lego.
Yeah. They need to go out to the ball fields and play with other kids and just learn basic social skills like, hey, my name is Connor. Shout outs to Connor, my
not
nephew.
even just the youth, our own generation.
Our own generation too.
We're losing the art of the conversation.
Yes, we are.
We don't know how to keep a conversation.
Are you a phone guy conversation or are you a texter?
Funny story. I literally just had this conversation with my parents last night.
Because I had that conversation too.
Because during the day, I cannot look at my phone at all.
Right.
Like, don't text me. Don't text me. Like, I'm in like 4 or 5 group chats, and then some of which are not of my choosing.
I know. Sometimes you get put on group chats, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Also, there's multiple different apps now that I have work on my phone as well. Like, my phone goes off all the time, and I just told my parents, I'm like, sometimes people's texts just get lost in the weeds. I'm like, if you want to talk to me and it's important, call me.
Call.
I will see. I have a missed call, and I will call you back because maybe we can segue this into why I'm not on social media, but like, I personally just feel like our generation has lost the ability to actually like just communicate in general, and which is why to me it's like I'd rather just call you. Like even today it's like I could have just you texted me last night and I couldn't get back to you, but then you texted me this morning. I could have just texted you back. No, I wanted to call you.
Yeah, you did call.
I wanted to hear your voice,
and I definitely missed your call. But I called you back.
You called me back, and I
Called you
appreciate that.
back. Yeah.
It's called etiquette.
Yeah, so yeah, I think the art that you said, the art of conversation, the art of active conversation, and it's funny because I was a couple weeks ago I was out with my cousin, and we were just kind of just chilling at the mall.
Mm.
We were in the food court, and sometimes when you're in the food court at the mall, you kind of sort of tend to people watch, and it just happens by.
Dude, tend to? No, I people watch.
And I sometimes I don't do it on purpose. Like I'm not a purpose. I'm not really an intentional people watcher. I know that people are. Some people do.
I can't deny. I love people watching.
Some people love to just go and people watch. And where's my water? Here it is. They love to people watch. I'm not one to people watch, but I do catch myself people watching. And we were watching this one couple, literally like sitting right across from us, got their food, sat down, and looking at
just sat and watched the phones, didn't they?
looking at their phones.
Not
And
talking
I'm
to each other.
I'm assuming they're together. Like I'm assuming they're a couple. They could be
They could be friends.
They could be friends
They could-
or a
it's-
sister or brother. But
It is
still,
possible.
but still, you're gonna sit in front of another human being while sharing a meal, and you're not gonna have conversation. That's crazy. You're TikToking. You're taking pictures of your food that you're about to post on Instagram, and shout out to all the people that do that. But let's be more intentional with having conversation, because, as you know, I'm a podcaster now, and I embrace dialogue. I embrace conversation. Conversations are a powerful tool because they can open up other conversations to maybe encourage you to do XYZ. That it'll probably help you problem solve XYZ. It'll help you cope with XYZ. Sharing your problems, being vulnerable, being transparent to those that you entrust with your stuff. Those things you guys have to practice. Don't go on social media, on Facebook and Twitter, and rant about things. What is your rant going to really accomplish except for just bringing the spotlight to you?
It's adding my voice to the conversation. No, you're becoming part of the problem.
Yeah, because if these rants and ongoing sentences about how you feel about certain topics isn't really going to solve your problem. You're still going to be festering. Your feelings are still going to fester inside, and it's not going to be healthy mentally.
No.
And as you know, I'm a huge advocate of mental health.
Nope.
And it's not a proactive way of getting mentally healthy. Take a deep breath, Tom. Take a deep breath.
There's so much to this. There's so much.
I know we're talking at somebody today, though. We are talking at somebody today. And like, again, from episode 1, I'm not here to call out anybody. I'm here to call up people. I'm here to challenge people. And if you find yourself and you're checking your screen time, I challenge you tonight or today or this morning or whatever time you're listening to this
How much you
podcast.
want to bet people were on social media as they were
Look
listening to this?
on your phone, especially if you're on an iPhone. You know how iPhones have like your screen time, your stats? Look at that stat and you tell me if I'm wrong. Because I'll be the first. I'm guilty of it. My screen time's looking crazy. That I'm kind of contemplating whether or not I need to take a little bit of an absence on my social media. But I gotta navigate very carefully, because now that I have this platform and I'm trying to engage with you viewers and listeners, it's going to be a task for me. So pray for me, please. but it is a real thing. It does something to your mental. It does something to your psyche. Tyler just shared very, very credible statistics from a credible source that this does things to your brain, especially to the youth who are, for lack of a better term, impressionable.
Dude, I'm 30 years old, and I got off it because I didn't want all the negative side effects with it.
Right.
I had to, like, I actually, speaking of my parents, I really had this conversation with my stepmom last night. She was like, "Don't let people change you. She literally was like, you loved social media, yada yada yada. Like, I still don't understand why you got rid of it." I'm like, how do you not understand?
Right, yeah.
Do you not get all the reasons why you... I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but like, all the reasons I did get rid of it?
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I probably didn't explain enough to them to like, tell them why I did.
Right.
but maybe this is where I can start saying why I got rid of social media.
Yeah.
So
let's speak on it.
Here's the thing.
And when you told me that you got rid of it and that you weren't going back and it was probably a forever thing, I didn't even. I literally looked at you and I internalized myself and I said, man, I understand why. I totally understand and I get it because I had to step away from social media because I, for about almost 2 years, from dating back 2017, 2018, and it bled over to 2019, I was struggling with pornography.
Yeah.
And when we get to that episode, because I'm working on,
this is gonna be good.
On pornography and the addictions of pornography, what pornography does to the psyche, to the brain, to everything. We'll dive deeper into that. But I dealt with porn addiction, and when I got delivered from it, praise God, social media was becoming like
essentially
a gateway again for me to kind of relapse, if you will. And I had to remove myself from social media because of these girls wearing
Plural, many
bikinis, and I saw a lot of things hanging, and I said, this is not healthy for me. I got to be responsible. I got to be held accountable. I need to get off Instagram. So I got off Instagram for a while, and it helped tremendously. And it's just something that you, as a young adult, have to make those decisions. If you're a young adult out there and you're struggling with social media, you're struggling with pornography, you have to put on your big boy pants on sometimes and just call a spade and say, hey, I have a problem. And not until you come to your senses and come to in terms that you have a problem with social media or social media being a gateway to diving in deeper into your porn addiction, it's something that you need to call out for help. I called out for help with my accountability partner, and I had to tell my accountability partner the truth. I had to be transparent. I couldn't sugarcoat things. I couldn't say, oh, well, sometimes I would go and see this, that, and the third, and I follow this channel on Instagram, and it triggers me. No, I had to tell him straight up, hey, man, I'm struggling, and it's porn. And it's just jacking my life up. It's jacking my social life up, and it's jacking my spiritual life up. I need help.
Yeah. And
he just kind of went over the certain steps. Obviously, prayer was involved and this, that, and the third. But it's ultimately up to you. I mean, if you're not a teenager or a little kid and you're a young adult in your 20s and 30s, man up. Man up and seek help. If you're looking for a sign, this is your sign. You're listening to my voice right now. This is your sign. Get off social media. If you're dealing with porn, tell another man. Hopefully that man is a man of God, that is an elder, or that is someone that you trust.
You can come to us too.
Come to us too. I dealt with it for a very long time, and again, I'll get into that when the time comes, but I was exposed to it at a very young age. I had no business seeing these things, and that's where my addiction started when I was a tender age of 7, which is my nephew Connor's age. Yeah. And I got exposed to that stuff, and it jacked my life up. But God is still good. God is great. God has the last say. Amen. And so I can't wait to have that episode. But yeah,
I mean, I kind of have to build off that. It's like I found myself kind of struggling in the same way, where it's like it was, oh my gosh, like I'm looking at this, it's like now I want more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like that was still a reward system. It's like, oh, okay, see that, okay, great. Then it's like you just want more. You just want more.
Because Instagram is such
here's the thing, right? It got, I don't say it didn't get so bad, but like
it gets bad though. That explore page, bro, was looking crazy.
In my last
you click the explore page and then all you see is like girls in bikinis, girls in yoga pants doing a split in the gym. So thank you for bringing it up, because it was scary, bro. It was scary.
Like, you said it like you have to just man up and say it. It's like I noticed that like there like more times than not I was this was a number of years ago, but like I was liking pictures of women more in their swimsuits than really anything else.
Oh,
so I
know.
So I actually put a rule on myself, especially when I started to be in relationships or whatever. Like I put a rule on myself. I said, hey, I cannot like pictures with girls in bikinis. Cannot like it. Like, I can't double tap. I just keep on scrolling. Just keep on scrolling. Because I also don't want to add to the problem of that reward system of adding to the problem of like,
because
only
algorithm
liking the picture because she's in her swimsuit.
The algorithm will pick that up.
Exactly.
And when you go on your explore page, it's gonna suggest to look at this page and look at this page and look at this fitness page, and the fitness page is all girls in tight, fitness gear.
No need for imagination.
No
kids.
need for imagination type fitness gear, and it's just not a good time.
But here's the thing: that was a small step.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very, very small step because I recognized something. I was like, you know what? I admit it's like okay, but then I started to, then over the years, like, granted, I also had accountability partners,
right.
Whether it was the person I was in a relationship with or another guy. I was like, okay, like I'm, doing this, follow. It's like, why'd you really follow that girl? Why'd like had to address that, and so, I mean, just this past year, as everyone fully well knows from the beginning of this podcast, I deleted my social media. Mm-hmm. And my stepmom was like, I still don't understand that. And I said, because they said there's many reasons why. Obviously, first off, it's the gateway. But secondly, like, I found myself, when I was just out in public sitting around, I'll be sitting with a group of people, just literally didn't even think about it. Just open my phone and just go.
And isn't it crazy how you mindlessly do it?
You mindlessly do it. It's like opening the fridge.
It's crazy.
It's like I wonder what happens now.
It's the craziest thing.
Doing new food.
And I'm guilty of that. TiVo even knows, because sometimes when I hang out with TiVo, and when me and TiVo hang out, it's in a group setting. We're hanging out with other people, and man, it's so easy to just whip out your phone and start like either Instagramming and doing this and taking pictures. And it's cool to do it. It's cool to do it. But then when you catch yourself constantly doing it, you're kind of like detaching yourself from living in the moment.
And that's
because it's okay. It's okay to live in the moment and just enjoy the moment from what it is. Like, use your brain. Yeah. Your brain will captivate a memory. You will have that memory forever. If it's something that's going to touch you, it'll live rent free in your brain. There's no need to take pictures of everything, because I'm guilty of that too. There's no need for you to take video of everything. I'm guilty of that too. I'm not trying to call out people and trying to call people up. And I'm challenging myself to not always whip out the phone when I'm hanging out with TiVo, Zeke, and all them boys, right? It's okay to take a couple, but then engage in your friends and be part of the crew.
I was done with not living in the moment. I was done.
That's well said.
I appreciate because
that.
For me, like, I'm me, I'm the type of guy that's like, I want to thrive right now. It's like this because once this moment goes away, this moment can never be repeated.
It can never be repeated.
Ever. And I was done living them.
Because you can never duplicate a feeling.
No.
You could take the best picture ever, the best video ever, but you can never duplicate the feeling that you had when you were creating that memory. When you were creating that memory, just living in the moment, you will never replicate that feeling. You will never recreate that feeling, because that's something that touched your heartstrings. That's something that touched your soul. That's something that touched the other individual. Mm-hmm. And you'll never be able to duplicate that.
100%. But I noticed, like, that's the other thing, is I noticed it would happen all, like, I would just be sitting on social media for hours, even though I'd be trying to refresh it, nothing new would happen. I'd still be like, new stuff. I was done.
Were you the guy that closed the app and then reopened the app thinking it'll like give you something new?
I will maybe confirm or deny doing that.
I used to do that all the time. Bro. I used to be like, there's nothing on. I was like, yo, let me just close the app, wait like 5 minutes.
And then all the new stuff will come.
Yeah, then reopen it.
All the new stuff.
Yeah. It was crazy.
But even to add more on top of that, like, I thought about it, and yes, it's all of that. Mm-hmm. It was everything that we just talked about, but also at the same time, like, almost launching off what you kind of already said. It's like, I've been called to something so much more. I can't step out into what God has for me if I am trapping myself in these feelings. And if I'm making a wallless prison by keeping myself in certain places, by always just feeding myself these, because it was just essentially I was just feeding myself things that I wanted to see. Right.
It's called a cell for a reason, boys and girls.
And so, And so that's why, like, you know, because like, you know, this past year,
this thing is called a cell for a reason.
Cell phones.
Because this will be your cell in your prison if you're not careful.
Like my phone, like if you were on the YouTube, you saw me throw my phone away.
And you just saw me wave the phone.
My phone is not out of reach. But like I can't really reach it right now. But like I don't care. Right, where my phone is right now. Mm-hmm. Like people can text me. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm making memories with my boy.
Yeah.
I'm adding to the kingdom, which is what I was created to do.
Amen.
And but again, I can't do that if I'm just always sitting on social media.
Yeah.
Because this past year, God has revealed a lot to me. A lot. Mm-hmm. He's called me to do more. He's called me to step into more. And I was inspired by a couple people. Mm-hmm. But the real big push came from my best friend Marco.
Shouts to Marco. He actually texted me today again.
Love that guy. But I actually spoke with him on the phone this morning. I loved it.
Yeah, I love that.
It was a great conversation about dreams and church. It was great.
Love it.
But he, at one point, he's like, dude, once you do it, it's the most freeing feeling.
Well, yeah.
And he was right.
Yeah.
I feel so free. I don't feel like I'm a slave to that thing anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, I still use it like, whatever, but I don't feel like I have to look at it all the time. Yeah. It's so nice to put my phone down and walk away and not care. It's like, hey, did you see? Nope.
Yeah. And a lot of you guys that has done that in seasons, you know that feeling, because I know that feeling. Mm-hmm. When I was in my season of just detaching myself from social media, specifically Instagram, it felt good, man. Yeah. It felt, like you said, it felt freeing. Like I didn't have to.
The weight's dropped off.
Yeah, it's dropped off. I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna post, what video I'm gonna do, or what.
Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah. When I had it, I love social media. I love posting fun videos, like creative stories.
Yeah.
Especially when I went to Disney, like finding ways of telling.
And I hope we didn't lose most of you guys, because we're
not hating on social media.
We're not hating on social media at all.
Is it great? Yes. Are there lots of negatives to it? Yes. We have to address all of that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this was my decision to repent, right? Mm-hmm. Like I felt inspired to by a number of people, but also I was listening to God going, okay, if I'm stepping into a life that is so much bigger than the one I have now, I have to maybe, like, you know what? Hey, maybe one day I'll get social media back.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm not opposed to it. I said it's a forever thing.
Yeah.
But that's a mentality, though.
Right.
Because if I had it, it's like, okay, I'll just run back to it real quick. Because, all right, I'm going to get biblical real quick. All right, Numbers 22, okay? It's a story of Balaam and Balak, okay? But basically, Balaam was a man of God. He was a seer, quote, known as a seer. And Balak was the king of Moab. And Balak wanted Balaam to curse the nation of Israel. But to do that, Balak sent like people, riches, things like that, attention to Balaam. And Balaam was like, okay, well, instead of just immediately sending them, like listening to God who said, don't keep them around, he kept them in his house. He's like, hey, stay the night, hang out. And then God reminded him, hey, you get rid of them. So the next day he gets rid of them. But then Balak sends more important people and more gifts back, like a house full of gold, all this other stuff, sends it back, sends more to Balaam, and Balaam's like, well, maybe I'll think about it. But basically, like with that little short of that story, Balaam kept the temptation around. He kept it around, and that's why he kept it around, and that's why God was kind of getting frustrated. He's like, I told you to send them away, but you're keeping the temptation around because you're blinded by the attention, by the money, by all these influences that make you seem important, that at the end of the day are nothing.
Right. And
you keep the temptation around. And so for me, by me keeping social media, like not just deleting the app for a while, but like completely getting rid of it, like perma deleting Facebook and Instagram.
Right. That's a huge step.
I can't just let me just go back and recreate something real quick.
Yeah.
Like let me just log back on. No, right. I can't do that because it's all gone.
Right.
And so for me, I had to fully, because I also know myself, because I'm an athlete. Like if I got something, like I can work for it, whatever. But like I also know like if I'm willing to step in, if I want to go to the bigger leagues, if I want to play with the big boys and girls, I need to get rid of certain things that were just holding me back.
Yeah.
And that was holding me back.
Yeah, yeah. And I truly respect that, man. Like again, when you told me that, I totally got it. I respected it. I'm like, you know what?
You were like the biggest like supporter of it. It's like, dude.
Yeah, keep doing it because I know again I tasted it through sample sizes of it because through certain seasons of my life I had to detach myself from that.
Now, yes, are there times that I miss it? Yeah,
like of course.
Going back to Sarah and JR's wedding, I couldn't go back and relive the videos that everyone was posting because I didn't have social media. Right. I actually had to sit with somebody and go, "Hey, show me the videos that you posted," because like I couldn't see it.
Right.
And like yes, in that way I kind of miss it, but again, those were only stories, Instagram stories.
Yeah.
And they were gone in 24 hours.
You were actually there.
And here's the thing, I have memories from that night I will never forget.
Yeah.
I got to walk with my boy. I got to be there and support their marriage.
Yeah.
I got to dance with all these cool people. High five. We got to dance.
A lot of dancing.
That was a lot of dancing.
A lot of dancing.
It was a lot of fun. But just everything we've been saying, like I never want to miss one of those moments because, like, even though yes, we can record it and keep it around.
Yeah.
It will never replace actually experiencing
it. Right. And I want to harp on the fact that we're not discouraging anyone to do your social media thing because like to all you creatives that are listening, and if you still are listening because we probably lost half of y'all, to you creatives out there, well then Tyler, Javi, how are we gonna do things for the kingdom because everything's social media, and like you said, we're behind screens, so we want to share the gospel in so many different ways. And yes, do that. So if you literally genuinely gonna use that and utilize your platform for the kingdom, to share the gospel, to do all these things, then yes, we encourage you to, as you're creative, to get your content out there, to share God's grace, love, and message, and we encourage that. So no, we're not telling you creatives and you content creators to go on this boycott of social media and start boycotting Instagram although you can if you're led to do that, but we're not advocating to go boycott and try to cancel Instagram because we shared statistics about a certain demographic that are being affected with the remnants of social media. That's not what we're saying. We just want to challenge those that are struggling, and we just want to advocate the fact that hey, if you're a content creator, if you're a creative, if you're an artist, and you have to put your artistry on those platforms, by all means, go do it. Do it for the kingdom. Put God in front of it, and I think you won't fail. Speaking of,
we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. But we're gonna stay with our Spotify and Apple viewers. So yes, for you guys that listen so far,
thank you,
and continue to be great. Continue to do what you feel that God's calling you to do. If you're a content creator, an artist, a spoken word artist, a blogger,
don't ever stop.
Whatever it is, don't stop. Don't let the naysayers tell you different. If you know wholeheartedly that you're doing it for the kingdom, that you're putting God in front of it, by all means, do it. That's the reason why I'm doing it, and that's the reason why I have this platform up and running, is because I know that I detach myself from self, that I'm not doing it to get Javi famous, that I'm doing it for the kingdom, and I'm doing it to make the name of Jesus famous in my own way. And that being said, I think we're going to return to YouTube.
And I got something to hop on.
So let's go on YouTube. And again, thank you guys for listening and tuning in with us on Spotify and Apple. And we're back on YouTube. We back.
So
yes.
I have a good question. I have a really good question. Ready?
What's
up? I'm about to be preachy here for 2 seconds, so I apologize
to
everyone.
Let's do it.
Okay, ready? Speaking of Instagram, I had an idea for like a sermon series, mostly for youth, but you use each one of the social medias to like.
Shout out to Anchor Youth, by the way. Love you guys, and Pastor Caleb Belfort,
I love that guy so much.
pastor.
I love you, Caleb. You're amazing. But it's a series basically using each of the social medias, and each social media there's like a base question to it. And essentially the whole idea surrounds identity. But like, there's going to be one for TikTok, and one for Snapchat, and one for this, and one for that. But I'm excited about the one that's Instagram, because the main question is, how many filters are you putting on before people see the real you?
Ooh, preach it.
And but also what and how are you putting yourself out there to get those type of reactions that may not be not just fully God honoring, but like even honoring yourself.
Yeah.
Like, because I know there's a certain, like, what is it, like 35-degree angle that you got to take a picture at
to get your right.
If you can't actually see me, I'm trying to like do the 35-degree, but
or to avoid getting the double chin, you got to do a certain angle.
I can't do it because I'm not a model in any way, shape, or form. But
Instagram will tell you otherwise.
Instagram will tell you otherwise. But again, like how much like what filters are you putting on before people see the real?
I at least put like 2, 3.
Because like,
no, I'm kidding.
But here's the thing, right? Social media can be so deceptive. Because a lot of times it's like, oh, what does he look? Because like, what does he look like? What does she look like? You're asking these questions, and you're seeing, and you may not be even seeing the real person. You could not be. I mean, granted, let's. I mean, do we have to talk about it? MTV's Catfish?
Ooh.
Like, I mean, it's like, how real are you really being? Because like, this is something I even noticed where it's like, I preferred certain filters because I thought it made myself look better.
Yeah.
And I thought it would make my skin look good, like this and that. But I also know there are people who put way more efforts into every little bit of aspect of it. And like including especially, influencers.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. That's a very big quote unquote influencers. I'm not saying there aren't people who don't do good work for the kingdom and this and that, but like, it's starting to fall into the kind of same concept as like us putting like almost like celebrity pastors on a pedestal. You're putting these people on a pedestal. Oh man, I wish I had a love like theirs. Oh, I wish I had like fame like theirs. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. Anyone can fake anything nowadays.
Yeah.
Right? You can see, like, I see videos out there of people like, oh man, this is my Lamborghini and blah, 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 blah. And it's come out that like that person literally just rented it for like 2 hours to film a video, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like, how real are you really being with people?
Yeah.
Like for me, when I had social media, I rarely posted a picture that was just by myself. I posted with other people because it's not just about me. Because yes, it's about me, but like, I didn't feel like it was about me. But I always wanted the best. I want the best filter on there. I want the best, and I actually wrote this down. Ready? I'm about to. It feels like I'm about to attack people, but I swear it's calling people up. Here we go. Here we go. You can produce and broadcast the face you want people to see. It is so much easier to be someone who is not ourselves. We do not have to. When we do so, we do not have to face our own demons, shame, mistakes, shedding the weights off to be free to be a more perfected and hollow version of who we wish or perceive perfection to be.
Speak it.
And I mean, dare I say, like, kind of fake being somebody else, catfishing people, being someone who we're not. And it's like, it's even shown through all these fake profiles. That's like, it's so much easier to be somebody else because it's just perception is like, it's fun to be somebody else who's not me. Because
did you hear about Pastor Sean getting a fake?
Oh yeah, he did.
Shout out to Pastor Sean. He actually posted it yesterday. He's like, hey, if you guys see a friend request by this account, it's not me. This is my only Instagram. And I'm looking at myself like, bro, someone had the audacity.
And not just because it's Sean. Like, yes, because it's Sean, because he has a huge following. Because he, like, over time has built up a great reputation of being an amazing man of God, of being someone who's fun to be around.
Someone created an Instagram page posing as him. I was like, wow, that is crazy.
Like, but it's like someone made the decision to do that.
That's pretty insane.
Made the decision to be someone who, like, not even like to replicate Sean, but even to like gain some of that fame.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see sometimes where it's like
they use the same default picture too. That's
that's
crazy.
creepy. No, that's creepy.
That's creepy.
That's creepy, bro. Whoever
Shout
you
out
are,
to
that's
Pastor
creepy.
Sean.
I hope you hear this too. That's creepy. That's not even fun anymore.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
That's just. But again, we are in this society where it's just so much. It's just so much easier to not be ourselves.
Right.
So much easier.
Yeah, and that's sad, actually.
And I think that shows a whole different side of social media that no one wants to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
That no one wants to talk about. And I'm glad we're talking about it now.
Yeah.
I'm glad people are starting to see it.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
You know, so you get like a certain amount of time. But like I even saw someone the other day where it's like they were going through social media and they had one of those like social media timers where it's like as soon as you hit this time. But here's the thing, it was so easy to like go to bypass that. It was just like 2 clicks or a button. It's like, okay, I just keep going through it. And I'm like, then what's the point of doing that?
Yeah.
What's the point of even having that in the first place?
Right.
Because you just find yourself like, again, falling back onto this thing of like essentially hiding the real you. Because essentially I think there is a movement of in social media where it's like because we don't reach that level of perfection, we don't reach that level of like things that people believe they should be at, that they have to fake it.
It's because the obsession of becoming famous is becoming a real thing. Like this society nowadays, they're thirsting to become famous. They want to be famous. They want to do anything and everything to get famous.
It takes one video to go viral.
Yeah.
It takes one video, but people also put themselves up so much that's like.
It's the reality TV / Kim Kardashian / social media era that we're living in. Like people just want to become famous just because. And that's scary because...
And you know what's funny? I also was in that group too. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, it's like, yeah, I want to be famous. Oh, like, you know. And then I realized, I'm like, I don't want to be famous. Forget that.
Yeah.
It's like, I hear the horror stories about being famous. Mm-hmm. I'm like...
It does something to you, for real.
No, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm okay with being a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. A nobody. Because in God's eyes...
You're somebody, man.
You not only you somebody, you are a precious, perfect,
precious gem.
Just person that He created that He knows you from the inside out, knows the numbers of hairs on your head. He knows the struggles you're going through. Amen. And guess what? Despite everything that we do, we fake, we do this, He still loves you no matter what.
Amen.
And
Amen.
I will preach that to the day I die because He did that for me. If He can do that for me, He can do that for anybody.
Amen, for sure. That is, it's just scary, and it's becoming something that needs to be tackled. And I think by having more of these conversations, and I think I'll probably have a part 2 to this, because this is a conversation that needs different perspectives. We are getting a male perspective. Hopefully, I could get a female perspective soon. I'm actually working on that. Getting a female perspective on what we're talking about.
We swear we're not like misogynists.
I promise. I'm trying to celebrate y'all girls too. I want to give you guys a voice. I'm actually working on talking to a friend of mine who's a huge influencer on social media. She has like 17,000 followers.
I'm gonna pretend to know who you're talking about.
She's a huge TikTok influencer too. Her TikTok blew up. So I actually have a FaceTime conference with her. To get like a part 2 of this because I do want to get...
That'd be dope because I can only talk about so much now. I can talk about, hey, not having social media, but now we need someone
with the social media presence.
Who has a very large platform.
It happens to be Christian. So yeah,
Amen,
the part 2 hopefully will come sooner than later. But yeah, we'll have we're giving a female a voice to represent you girls out there.
I think it'd be cool to have an all-female podcast.
Yeah, for sure. I'm working on that. No, seriously.
We'll get there eventually.
Seriously, because you know how many times I get DM'd like, "Hey, where's the females? I thought you are not inclusive."
If you missed last week, we're not those Christians.
Yeah.
That We want to have
Yeah.
women on. Like
Yeah, we do.
We have women in the crowd all the time.
We had Navik on. Navik did a phenomenal job.
Love you, Navi.
That was for one of the episodes, earlier episodes. So if you want to tune into that episode, go on Apple, Spotify, check that out for sure.
But we have more. We have more. We swear we have more coming.
Yeah, we got more stuff coming. We want to give women a voice. We want to put women on here for on the platform. So hey, if you feel that you have a story or you want to share something, DM us and you'll go through the quote unquote vetting. The vetting situation,
because that has to be a real thing. That has to be a real thing. But do you have anything else you want to add?
I think that's it. Just that more stuff is to come. A part 2 of this conversation is to come, and as I said, sooner than later with a female perspective. What else?
Hey, you know what? Why don't we do a challenge?
Yeah, let's do a challenge.
I challenge everyone. I challenge everyone who's listening right now. Right? Not only do obviously this conversation the entire time, we hope you were somewhat listening. And you know, again, I'm not saying get rid of social media.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do that, that's your own prerogative. That's your own decision, just like I did mine. Okay? I'm not trying to say I'm holier than thou. That's not what I'm saying in any way, shape, or form. Do not put words in my mouth.
Or mine.
But I would like to challenge everybody for literally just I mean, like, I know people have like fasts of like social media and yada yada. Again, that's great and all.
Mm-hmm.
Do an entire month where you completely detox.
30 days.
An
Do it.
entire not 21. 30.
30 days.
30 days. I challenge you guys. And here's the thing. I think we're almost in the I feel like it's ironic. It's like the perfect window to do it in,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're getting close to Halloween, which means
Mm-hmm.
we're getting close to Thanksgiving, which means, praise God, we're getting close to Christmas.
Yay,
Sorry,
buddy.
I'm a huge fan of Christmas. Shout out to Pastor Sean, who already has his tree up, which me and him talked about this weekend. I'm so excited. But I'm such a nerd. It's ridiculous. Anyways, think about it. You do 30 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you won't be able to post certain things and yada yada, the typical fall, Instagram posts, whatever. But the holidays are all about being time with friends and family.
Yeah, man.
So why don't we inspire to be more and inspire to live a bigger life?
Yeah.
And detox from social media, at least for a little bit. Like, use the entire month of November.
Yeah. That way, come December, you
can still have it back. I'm not saying get rid of it until the end of the year. Although if you could do that, that'd be impressive.
Yeah, and then come December, if you want to post because you like Christmas, like Tyler, as much as Tyler, if not more, then post your Christmas stuff in December.
I don't know if that's possible, but 30 days. I'm challenging you guys. So if you're willing to take the challenge and you want accountability people, DM him.
Yes. Speaking of DMs, if you guys aren't following, you guys listening on Spotify and Apple and YouTube, if you aren't following the IG, it's kingdomtalks _ pod, POD, kingdomtalks _ pod. And I posted on my Insta story, and a couple of times, leading up to this week's episode, I posted if you wanted to hear us talk about a certain topic, whether it be me and Tyler or me and my other co-host that's been here before, like TiVo. Shouts to TiVo, by the way, who's working the camera this week. Let's give him a...
Oh, really?
Hey, TiVo in the building working the camera. But if you wanted to hear us talk about whether it be me, Tyler, me, TiVo, me, Caleb, me, Mike, me, whomever, if you want to hear us talk about a certain topic, what would it be? I posted this on my Insta story, and there's no wrong answers. And for now, I have social media influence, which we just covered, and we will cover more of it on a part 2. We also have addiction on there, anxiety, and entrepreneurship. Addiction's leading right now because next to social media. Anxiety is another one. And anxiety kind of correlates with mental health, and I think I'm going to get my therapist to cover that.
Someone who's a little more
qualified for that. So I'm going to be posting more of these on the Insta stories. So if you're not following, go ahead and follow us so that way you are more involved with engaging with us and with the show. And if you don't see anything that you want us to cover, then here we go. You ready? You can make a suggestion. You can suggest something. So if you don't if you don't want us to talk about addiction, anxiety, mental health, or entrepreneurship, and you got something that you want us to share or talk about, let us know. We're not going to know unless you tell us. So go ahead and follow us, DM us, and let us know what you guys want us to talk about, because it's important for you guys to get engaged and be part of the conversation and not just tuning in and listening us ramble. But other than that, I think this was a dope. I had fun. It was fun.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was great, man, and it's empowering because you can stand up to social media. There is life outside of social media. He's a testament to that. He's living and thriving without Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, and that challenge still stands. If you guys want to take on the challenge, let us know, and we'll hear from you in a month. If you're going to take it now, take your 30 days now, and then we'll hear from you guys in a month.
Let's get your number. Like, reach out to us so we can keep you accountable.
Yeah, email us on the.
Then he can give you my number, whatever. Like, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, email. kingdomtalks.com, www.kingdomtalks. Kingdom Talks Podcast.
And you can't even say your own podcast name right, bro.
KingdomTalksPodcast.com. And subscribe to the newsletter. Email us if you're going to get off social media and you guys are going to take on the challenge. Email us, and we'll shout you out. We'll encourage you. However, but just email us. Let us know.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead before we wrap up.
Okay. First off, if y'all have any, besides that, sidebar, if y'all have any prayer requests,
yeah, that too. Please
reach out. Let us know. We are connected to people with a full-on prayer team of the most spiritual and spirit connected people we know.
That's a group chat that I love being part of, because I'm actually in that group chat.
I am as well.
The prayer team.
I stay in it because I want to.
Shout out to Nicole. Shout out to Erica. Shout out to Roxy. All those prayer warriors.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
But if you have any prayer requests, please reach out. Let us know.
Yeah.
But
that's another thing I'll be posting on my Insta story. Sorry to interrupt you.
You're fine.
Prayer requests. I'm gonna post on my Insta story prayer requests and what prayer requests you, and then I'll go ahead and you guys could actually interact in that Insta story for prayer requests. So that would be an easy way to.
And it will remain confidential.
And it will remain confidential unless, for whatever reason, you want us to
do like a praise or whatever. But confidentiality is number one.
Is number one for us.
But like I said, any prayer requests, let us know. But above all else, you're loved.
You're loved.
Whoever you are loved. And it may not seem like it. Everything may seem hopeless. May seem dark right now. I don't know who this is for, but you are loved.
Yes.
God loves you. We
Amen.
do love you. And if you want to talk to anyone, please do not hesitate. Whatever lie you're hearing is the lies of the devil. Whatever you're hearing, he's just trying to destroy the kingdom and keep you from stepping into God's literal ordained life for your life.
Amen.
So do not let the devil win. Smack him upside the head with the prayers.
Absolutely.
That's a key pill. I love that one. It's like, I'm blah, 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 with my prayers.
Yeah, you have authority, you have dominion. God created you not to be weak, but to be strong in Him and through Him. Walk in that victory. If you're feeling depleted, you're feeling defeated, it's okay to be in that space. It's just not okay to stay there.
It's okay to not be okay, but you are loved. You are meant for more.
Absolutely. You are meant for more. We're better in numbers, so if you don't have anybody to cling on to us. We're just a couple of regular guys that talk about things that matter.
I'm not perfect either.
We're not perfect either, and we're just average dudes that just like to talk Jesus for the most part. So we're here to just encourage, to empower.
So send this to somebody.
Yeah.
Send this to somebody who needs to hear this today.
Yeah.
You are
so
loved.
Share it.
You are
and it's so easy to share now too.
Because we have the power of social media.
The power of social media is real. YouTube's making it so much easier now to share links. So share the YouTube videos, share the Spotify link. It's so easy. The Apple, same thing. Where the Apple Podcast is very user friendly for all you iPhone users. So yeah, please share. And this is again not for the sake of me, but for the sake of the kingdom and to make God famous, not me. With that being said, we are gonna wrap up. Thank you again, TiVo, for manning the camera. Love you, bro. Love you. And we're done. Till the next time. Same time, same channel, same voice. Hopefully we'll do Tyler.
You're gonna hear more later.
Yeah, we'll hear more. We'll hear more later, and we're looking forward for future episodes. And the best is definitely yet to come.
Amen.
Peace out.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.